So this is episode 3 of our Seeds Create podcast. I am Yanina May, and our guest for episode 3 is Sonya LaTorre. She is a filmmaker and a very good friend of mine, and I brought her on today's podcast for the focus of having a very cool creative, another very cool creative on our podcast, so you can get to meet another amazing creative and learn about them and the things that they are doing in this world. One of the major things I wanted to focus on with Sonya is the fact that she just recently made an incredible film. Congratulations.
You.
You're very welcome. And it is a incredible film. It focuses on some very heavy things that a lot of people go through in this world. I really wanted to bring Sonya here because she has gone through a very heavy event in her life, and a lot of people have. She has brought focus to it. And one of the main things, especially now in our world, is we're going through a lot of craziness, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of hurt. She has managed to take that and transmute it. And that's like kind of the focus word that I want to stick with. She's been able to transmute it into something absolutely beautiful that is also helping others. So I know that there are a lot of people in the world right now going through some major heavy things. And my biggest goal with this episode is to help people maybe get inspired to take anything that they're going through that's very heavy and transmute it into something creative that can also help other people. So yeah, we're gonna dive right into things. I have a list of questions here, and first off, thank you so much for being here. And
Of course.
I told Jenna about you doing it, and she's stoked, and we're just so excited that you took the time to hang out with me today. And how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I am just flowing and allowing this internet thing to do what it's doing. But yeah, we did catch up a little bit before we jumped on here, so I got all the details. And yeah, just but in general, let's tell the folks anything you wanna share, anything that's going on in your world right now before we dive into the questions.
Yeah, so I guess I've been focusing on my short film. We've been going to a bunch of festivals. We've gotten into 9 so far, which is really exciting. And yeah, other than that, just like living life.
That's incredible. 9. Holy
Yeah.
smokes. Holy smokes. And the name of the film?
It is She Was, She Is, She Never Will Be.
Incredible. It's one of my favorite. I actually, when you sent me the title of it, I just thought that was just such an awesome title. Super
Thank you.
creative. And when you see the film, please make sure after you watch this podcast, you check out the film, and you'll see why the title is what it is. It's a perfect title. It's great. So well done. And you did the editing for it, right?
Yes. Yep.
Incredible. That's so awesome. How was that? I know I didn't add that to the questions.
No, that's okay.
Because I know that editing was not like, like that was not really your thing when you started. So how'd
Yeah.
it go?
Yeah, well, it was cool because I taught myself how to edit for
Amazing.
this project, and I kind of fell in love with editing. Like, I'm editing other people's projects now, and it's yeah, I learned a lot, and it's cool because it's like I'm a writer first, I would say. So like editing is like writing, but at the end, it's like the reverse of writing, kind of. So it's like I get to use that skill, but visually, and I really like it. So, it was, like, a very happy, like, accident kind of that I was able to edit this and teach myself and
That's incredible. That is, and like stuff like that, like I love that because it's like, this should be such a for anybody that's kind of working on their own stuff. Like I just love hearing about people like, and I know why you ended up doing the editing. So, and that doesn't really matter to the audience, but
yeah,
in other words, she kind of took a situation and was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it myself. And I love that. And just taught herself how to do it. And you can, that should be an inspiration for people to like just, if there's something that you have to do or even obviously want to do, you can teach yourself how to do it. It's 2025.
yeah.
We've got YouTube. We've got
Yeah, I literally learned everything on YouTube and, like, Reddit forums and stuff, like, It's like all the information's out there for like anything you wanna learn pretty much.
Yes, yes. So like if you're making excuses about like having to learn things, like there is really no excuse at this point because you can learn anything for free. And that's kind of the thing even with the podcast. Like I was like, how do you make a podcast? How do you edit it, you know? So thank you YouTube and thank
Yep.
you Google and all of these things that are so easily accessible to us now in 2025. So there's no excuses, you can do it. So yeah, so she put everything together. You basically did everything. So you did all the things from give me the list. Give me the
Yeah.
list.
So I wrote the script, I produced it, I directed it, I starred in it, and I edited it.
Incredible. That's so
Yeah.
cool. That is amazing. So my question with the editing, just kind of based off of what you said in the beginning about like kind of writing in the reverse, like did you because when I watched it, everything that, from reading the script when I was working with you, you kept it pretty, consistent to the script, but did you tweak or have to kind of like maneuver things a little bit?
Yeah, there were some moments, especially in the beginning, that I played with a lot that wasn't initially what I had thought in my mind in the script, and that was mostly because we didn't get some of the shots that I wanted, or, like, the takes of the shots we got weren't the performance wasn't there, or I just didn't like the way the shot looked, it didn't feel right, so, like, I played around a little bit, and I actually ended up using some footage that was, like, before we said action, like, and I, like, put it into slow motion, so some of the, like, really close up stuff was, like, not it was, like, extra stuff that we didn't actually, like, shoot I mean, we shot it obviously, but wasn't, like, part of the shot list. So, like, I played around with that. So I think the the beginning bedroom scene is where I messed with stuff the most and kind of rewrote a little bit in the edit. But yeah, it was, like, very we were able to, like, keep it was pretty close to what the original script was.
That's incredible. I love that. And mainly for the reason like this is another kind of like little my point with the podcast sometimes are to like inspire people and to kind of like lock in on little points of things. I recently did a film that you were a part of and I was one of the things was kind of exactly what you just said. There were maybe some things that didn't turn out the way that they were meant to be turned, but I love the fact that you kind of just kept it moving and just kind of like kept the creativity flowing and like kind of just worked with what you had to bring the vision to life instead of like just maybe scrapping it or you know what I mean. So it just kind of like it's like creativity on creativity on creativity kind of thing. So I just love that. There's one thing of everything being terrible or not working out, but when it comes to like one or two little things, you just kind of we're like, okay, how can I adjust and tweak and it ended up working out. So I just think that's super cool. I love that cuz even when I do photo shoots, and if you're watching this podcast and don't know much about me just cuz you haven't seen anything prior, I do photography, I do video work. So I'm very much in the creative world and even when I set up my own shoots like, we may want to use this outfit and then it breaks and we have to figure it out so I just absolutely love that with the creative thing, so that's awesome. Good on you, good on you. So yeah, I think that's actually a question that was not on here, so I'm throwing extra things at you.
That's okay.
So but anyway, so yeah, so one of the things was first off, congratulations on 9 festivals. That's absolutely incredible. That's like the coolest thing I've ever heard. I'm so impressed. And but how does it feel to see your work recognized like that?
It's kinda surreal, like, the first time I saw it on, like, the big screen, like it was almost like an out of body experience because, like, this is something I've been working towards for a really long time. Not only, like, to see my acting on the big screen, which I hadn't really seen that yet before, but, like, something that is really personal to me and, like, that I put so much time into, like, getting to see that was yeah, it was, like, surreal, and then having people come up to me afterwards and, like, saying how moved they were and, like, how it made them think about things in a different way than they had in the past, or like they were, like this is something that they've went through and that seeing that someone else has and like using it as not letting it like keep you down, like using it to propel you forward was yeah, it's just like really cool having people come up and like be like this inspired me, this moved me, this, like yeah. It's awesome.
No, it absolutely is. It absolutely is. And that's like my biggest thing with, that point about transmuting, because we all go through super heavy things, like life is life, and we kind of just have to keep it flowing, but instead of letting it keep you down, you took it, and again, I'll use the word, you transmuted it. You took this thing and totally changed it into something that is powerful and is helping other people, and it's absolutely beautiful. I can't even imagine. You must want to cry every time somebody's like, "I'm so inspired," and like, you
Yeah,
must be doing a lot of crying. So good crying, good crying. So I love that, and congratulations. Seriously, I'm so proud of you. I've known Sonya for a long time. We do live in two different states, but every time we get together, it's like no time has really
yeah,
past. We seem to just be able to kind of get right back into flow state. And we've just been kind of like helping each other with like our different projects, you know. So she's had me help with different things that she's been working on, and it's such an honor, and I really enjoy working with you.
same.
Thank you. And I appreciate that. And yeah, it's been a very, very cool friendship. So
Yeah,
yes,
definitely.
I'm very grateful. I really, really am. So on to my next question here to keep it. I'm watching time. So one of the things I'd love is if you could actually explain what your film was about, and basically like was there a festival acceptance that hit you the hardest? Like out of those 9 festivals, was there one that was just like, oh my god?
So, my film is about a high school girl who is sexually assaulted by her best friend, and this came from that I went through something very similar when I was in high school, and initially, I was just like, "I wanna write my feelings out," that's like what it started as, like, I was just, like, kind of stream of consciousness writing, and then as I was, like, doing that, it was helping, like, it was making me not making me feel better, but, like, it getting that out was a big step kind of, and I was like, initially, this could be a book, and that's kind of where I, like, first took it. I was like, the things that I'm writing feel like a novel, and so I started writing that novel, and this was when I was going to school for acting, and I kind of was like, "Wait, I'm an actress. Why instead of writing a novel, why don't I write a film and then I can star in it?" And
Yes,
like
girl.
yeah, so then I kind of started writing the feature film, and this was like over a decade ago. This is a long time ago. And then like life happened, it kind of just sat there. Like I every like year or so I would go back and like tweak things and like whatever. And then like th- 3 4 years ago I basically was like, no, I want to make this film, like I'm gonna do it, and I started working with a mentor, and yeah, her name's Izzy Stevens, and she's freaking amazing, and if you want a film mentor, see her, she is fantastic.
Amazing. I'll
But
put her link into the
yeah,
description.
but she basically was like, since you haven't directed anything before, you haven't done anything before, why don't you do a short film first instead of a feature film? Which, looking back, yeah, that's very, very good advice. Like,
Valid, valid.
yeah, so I kind of took a couple scenes from the feature and created the short film. I wrote a couple extra scenes to go along with to make it like feel like a cohesive short story. And then we got to making it, and it it's interesting because it did start out as, like, a very, like, trying to heal process, and as the more I got into working on it and the more I developed it further, it became less about, like, healing me and more about, like, bringing awareness to this topic that, like, isn't really talked about, and trying to, like, help other girls that are also going through it. So that was kind of a cool thing that it, like, doing it to help others helped heal me, if that makes
It
sense.
makes total.
Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know if I answered your question.
No, no, you absolutely did. I wanted to just ask if out of the 9 festival acceptances, if there was, like,
Mm,
one, not to not validate the other 8, but was there one that was like, "Oh my god."
the one that's coming up in November, the Queens World Film Festival, that one I'm, like, very, very excited that we got into. It's, like, a pretty big women's festival in Queens, and it's this year it's very focused on, like, all the films are about relationships and about, like, trauma and rebuilding relationships, so it was cool to not only get into this, like, really big festival that I really am excited about, but that it, like, the whole festival is about helping people with trauma too, kind of, so that was pretty cool.
Yes, that's awesome. I'm so glad too because you sent me the date, and I was like, "Oh my god, you be
Yeah,
there." So excited. No, that's I'm really looking forward to that. But I love that that's the focus, and it's very like women oriented. So
yeah,
that's awesome. Yay ladies. So that's incredible. Absolutely incredible. And to your comment about how it ended up, you kind of creating this that's been helping others heal has kind of healed you. That is
yeah,
actually a huge, huge point, kind of like in the spiritual community, is that like we don't realize how much actually helping other people can be very self healing. Like, we
yeah,
obviously have to take the time to focus on ourselves and, give ourselves what it is that we need. But when we are of service to other people, it really makes a huge difference, spiritually, internally, mentally, all these things. So I find that when I'm in like the worst headspace, helping other people seems to kind of redirect, the downfall that I'm going through in that moment. So I love that you said that. So thank you very much. Yeah, and I love that it's doing that. It really is such me and Jenna were talking about it, and after I was seeing you posting like another one, another, and I was like, this is the coolest shit I've ever seen. Like, I'm just so stoked. So, and it's cool to, watch somebody that I've known for such a long time just grow in this way. So I'm stoked. I'm so proud of you.
thank
You're
you.
welcome. I'm just, get out of here. You made me cry. I'm very emotional and sensitive. Okay. All right. So let's see. I'm going to check out these questions. So you talked about your background pretty much a little bit. So we kind of hit that question. Is this your first film?
Technically, yes. This is my first, like, film that I've directed, wrote, all of that. It is funny though, because I I've been thinking about, like, cause like, I always grew up, like, I'm an actress, I wanna be an actress, like, that was my thing, and that's what I went to school for, and the last few years, I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, I feel like I actually kind of always wanted to be a filmmaker, like, that's actually where because when I was little, I, like, would force all my friends to, like, put on plays and, like, film them and, like, when I first got my first digital camera, I would, like, walk around, like, filming everyone, and, like so I have made other films in the past before this, but I don't want anyone to see them, but I thought that was interesting as I was, like, reflecting on that, like, I think it was, like, last year, I was like, "You know what? I have been a filmmaker since I was little."
Amazing. I love that. Oh my god, that makes so much sense. I think also like between like acting and stuff like that, like it is very integrated into one another. So it could be a little tricky, I guess, to see like the actual
Yeah,
movement of where it's going. But I love that. And that's another great point is that like, sometimes your career or your purpose or things like that, it doesn't like totally show itself fully
right.
until you start kind of like doing things and trying different things, and this seems to have locked in really really well for you. So
Yeah, definitely.
You're like, "Yeah." No, I love that. That's so cool. You'll have to make like a, like a reel or something of all your past films before she became famous.
Goodness.
Alright, so no, like, major film was made before this. Okay.
No.
Got you, got you. So when you were making this, I'm just curious, like, was there ever a moment when you felt like giving up? Like, how did you push through that?
So, I don't know if there's, like, a moment, like, during production of this that I felt like giving up, but, like, for I had a lot of times, like, throughout the years that, like, I very much was like, "Should I be even trying to do this? Like, I don't know how to do this. I need someone to pick me, like, I can't do this myself," you know? And there were a lot of times where I was like, "Okay, well, I'm just gonna do something else then." Like, I'm gonna put my focus on something that I don't need other people to help me with, you know? And while I enjoyed doing those other things, like, really, like they weren't the thing that I wanted to spend all my energy on, you know? They were, like, fun hobbies kind of that I was trying to, like, turn into a career, I guess, because I was like, "I can do them myself. I don't need someone else to tell me that I can," you
Yeah.
know? And so I think, like, deciding that I and realizing, because I didn't realize that I could do it myself, but, like, deciding that, like, I don't need someone else to tell me that I can do it, I can just do it, you know? That was, like, a huge thing, and I think that's why I feel confident now in pursuing this and, like, making more films, and because I came to that realization that I I always thought you needed to have, like, a million connections, and you had to, like, have a big studio behind you, or, like, you needed to know everyone in all the different fields, and you needed to be able to pull together a team by all people that you knew personal like, I didn't think about the that I already knew some people, and, like, they will know people, and, like, you can just do it. You don't need permission, you know?
For sure.
Yeah, so that I think that's, like, how what's making me be able to not wanna give up anymore.
Good,
That
yeah.
realizing.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I definitely feel that. I get that 100%. There I think we're kind of, especially for this industry, I think sometimes we're taught like it's who you know, it's who you know, and at the same time like sure, but there are other ways to go about doing these things as you've just done. And I think at the end of the day like nobody truly does anything like themselves. Like we will always need help or teams or things like that, but like there's a way to do it in your way, like to create the teams and to have the people that are like truly supporting you and want to see you succeed and things like that, as opposed to being and doing these things that you're trying to be seen and pick me, like you said,
Yeah,
that kind of
yeah,
thing. And that's been actually kind of the lesson for me this year myself, is like I've been a part of other people's things. And then at the end of the day, it maybe hasn't worked out in the best way. And then I'm just like, I can do this by myself. Not totally,
right,
to create this thing on my own while including people that I know are in alignment with me. So,
mhm,
and you've literally done that exact thing, which I think is incredible and super cool. So, again, if you're watching this, take notes. So many notes because I'm totally inspired. So, yeah, let me see. Your this question, I think you kind of already touched on it, but like it's a little bit of a different question, I guess. So I put there's a certain vulnerability that comes with turning pain into art. How did you protect your boundaries as a creator while still being honest in your work? Because I'm sure it was a lot to kind of go through that again. And also visually too. I'm sure it's a lot.
mhm. Yeah, I think, like, me being the director helped a lot, like, that it was, like, my film, like, I got to make the decisions on what was happening, what the shots were like, how me and the other actors were interacting, you know? So it wasn't, because I could see how, like, if I had written it and was acting in it, but I wasn't the director and someone else was making those, like, making those decisions, how that would have been a lot more difficult to be a part of and, like, act in. I think it helped a lot too that I was very far removed from the incident. Like, I think if I would have tried to make this, like, 10 years ago, it I wouldn't have been able
Sure.
to. Like, it would have been too heavy, too, like,
Of
triggering, you
course.
know? And then I think too, while the main character is, like, written, like, I wrote it, like, as me, kind of, like, the character's very similar to me. I changed the other characters a lot.
Okay.
So, like, the main character, Adam, he's similar to the guy that I had the thing with, but he's also very different too. So I think that helped too, that it wasn't like I wasn't like recreating
Yeah.
it, if that
Like
makes
yours.
sense. I like fictionalized it enough that it was different. Having the actor that we had, Chandler, like, he was just so spectacular and, like, so, like, intelligent and emotionally intelligent too, and he really, really understood the story and, like, respected the story and how important it was, and so I think that helped a ton, because if we would have had an actor that, like, wasn't all those things and didn't really, really, like, understand the point of the story and, like, internalize it, it maybe could have been a very different experience, but having him be so respectful and so, like, he was just always asking questions and, like, very, yeah, respectful is the word that's I can't think of another word.
No, no,
Yeah, like, I think that helped a ton, and then just, like, having you on set, having my husband Brett on set, and having Beck, our other producer, like, people that I, like, super trusted, I think that helped a lot too. Like, if it like, obviously, we did have some people on the set that I wasn't super close with, but if the set would have been mostly comprised of people that I didn't really trust, I think that would have been harder to do it as well.
for sure. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. There, you were able to take this situation and essentially relive it, but in a different enough way that it wasn't transporting you back into a place where it could have potentially kind of, stalled you out because of dealing with these heavy emotions and, things like that. So I love that you tweaked it enough where it's
Yeah.
telling the story and it's very clear, but you were able to do what you needed to do to make it. So, and I love the fact that being the director also helped a lot because it really did give you full control. And I
Yeah.
think that at the end of the day, especially with the situation that happened, that's where the change was that there was full control on that end. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
So I think that's amazing. So yeah, you were basically able to you're giving a perspective where if there is somebody that wants to create something off of something that's happened in their past, that there's a way to tweak it in a way that makes it more comfortable to
Mhm.
deliver the story, but also be able to go through it without time traveling back into the situation. Mm. Is there anything also, this is actually not a question that I put in there, it just kind of popped into my head, but prior to this being such a big healing experience, were there things that you did for yourself like over the years, like going to therapy or like things like that that have helped you?
So I should have went to therapy a lot sooner than I did. I didn't until a few years ago, but I think the main thing that helped me was meeting my husband.
Oh, wow.
Um, because it just, like, I had other than this one experience, I have had a lot of very not great experiences with guys, and meeting Brett, like, he's just a genuinely good human being, you know? So, like, it not only, like, made me realize, like, I am worthy and, like, you know, like, this, like, it's not my fault, I didn't do anything, but also that, like, there are good people, like, like, they're not all the guys aren't bad,
Yes. Yeah.
and, like and him just being so understanding and so loving and, like, of all the issues that this trauma has caused for me, like, in, ways that I react to things and stuff, like, him just being so understanding and so I feel like that's really what healed me the most was meeting him and how he has treated me since meeting him.
Sure. Yeah. Her husband is one of the coolest guys I have ever met. He's like, I'm a nerd. He's pretty much a nerd. We're kind of like all nerds. So, but he's a gamer and he's got cool tattoos and into Pokemon and like all this stuff. He's an awesome guy. I got to hang out with him while we were filming, while she was filming this whole thing. And I just got to get to know him a little bit better. And he just really is just an absolute sweetheart. And I'm just so glad that you found him because that's healing can come in a lot of different ways. But I think like just how you explained it, like here's your physical representation that they're not all bad.
Yeah.
So good on you, Brett. We love you.
Yep.
That's so cool. Yeah, no, he really is such a sweetheart. And you guys golf? You're golfers?
Yes. Yes, he's obsessed with golf, and he's been teaching me over the last few years.
That's amazing. Are you enjoying it? Like, are you thoroughly
I am,
yeah?
yeah. Yeah, it's fun. I never in my life would have thought that golf would be fun, but, like, learning with him and getting to see, like, how excited he is and how much he loves it too, like and it's something, like, we can do together too, and I'm, like, not bad at it, so, like, that helps too.
She's multi-talented. I love that. Yeah, I photograph a couple events during the year where they do it's golfing events. And when I first started doing it, I was like, it's like playing fetch with yourself. Like you hit this ball and then you go and get it, you know? But then I started like really watching it and I'm like, all right, I see why this is pretty cool. So I totally
Yeah.
that's awesome. I love that you guys share that also. Yeah, they're like I consider Sonya and her husband like the straight version of me and Jenna, where they like to just be in the same room together and like doing their
Mhm.
individual hobbies. We were talking about that before we hopped on here. You know, she'll listen to her audiobook and do a craft and he's playing video games and not much interaction, but they're just in the same room together and they're just happy to be. So
Mhm.
that's my favorite thing. That's how you know you're a good pair.
Yep.
And all right, let's see. I'm checking the time. Perfect. We're doing great. Let's see. Oh, this is good. So was there any hesitation or fear around putting something so personal out into the world? And if so, what helped you move through that?
So, I didn't, I wasn't nervous about, like, putting it out there for, like, most people I don't know to see, like, that wasn't but it was when I was crowdfunding, I was a little nervous about, like, my, like, close friends and my mom seeing it because other than one of my close friends, I hadn't really told
Mhm.
them about this situation at all, and so I was a little nervous about, like not that they would react badly, but, like, that they would be hurt that I hadn't,
Oh,
like, felt that I could open up to them about it or, like, maybe, like, they'd feel weird that I was making a project about something like this. I don't know. I just felt a little nervous about their reaction to it. None of them had bad reactions.
okay, good.
But, yeah, so, like, it wasn't really warranted, like, my fear of it, but just because I hadn't disclosed it before and I was doing it in such a public way.
Sure.
Yeah, so that was, like, a little nerve-wracking, but it actually I had some very good conversations with my friends and my mom after it and after them seeing the film, and so, it brought us closer too, which was kinda cool, yeah. But sharing it with the world, sharing it with the general public, like, that was never something that I was super worried about. Because at that point, I was this was something that I was doing to help people, So it wasn't I wanted it to be out there. I wanted to make this to it was less about, like, sharing something about me and more about letting other people be seen.
Get that. No, and it's interesting how I think our biggest fears sometimes can be kind of directed towards our actual closest, like the closest people in
Yeah,
our lives, which is so interesting. And we'd have like no problem with it being like all over the world. Like, I
yeah.
don't know you, so but I get that. I'm just curious. Did your mom know like what you had gone through prior to this film? Oh
No.
wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's was why I was, like, nervous about it, because I was
Gosh,
like,
yeah.
I I didn't want her to feel like she did something wrong, like it was her fault that this happened to me, because like, I was still at home, I was a teenager, And, yeah, so I was like I didn't wanna hurt her with sharing it.
I get that. No, I definitely get that. I think that having conversations with parents, like it can just be really, really tricky sometimes, and depending on the topic, of course. But that's incredible. I'm really glad that you kind of pushed past that little bit of fear when it came to your mom and your friends, and it ended up working out. Like it brought you guys closer together, and the response was really nice. Nothing negative came out of it. It actually grew into something even more beautiful. So that's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that. Okay, so I'm, yeah, learning new things, more new things. So, wow. That's wild. So yeah, I have a few more questions, and then we'll talk about some fun stuff. Not that this has been amazing. So I would like to, just for people that are watching this, excuse me, what's one piece of advice you wish someone had given you when you were like starting out in this industry? I'll kind of just cap it at industry.
I think I kinda touched on this before, but I think the main thing is, you don't need a whole bunch of, like, expensive equipment, you don't need to have a million people that that have worked in the industry for a really long time. You don't need someone to give you permission to do it. Pretty much everyone now has like an iPhone or something. Like you can make a film on your phone. Like you can rig lighting stuff, like get a light bulb and a something to block, to like dampen it. Like write a script. Like you don't need to be trained in writing to write your own script. Like, just write your script and shoot it. Like, get some friends together and do it. Like, you're never gonna know, one, if this is something you really wanna do, and two, like, you're never gonna know what you need to learn until you try. So, like, even if you don't have a ton of money to spend, like, just get some friends together, write something, and shoot it on your phone. And if you do wanna, like, spend money on it, like crowdfunding. Like I didn't realize that that was something that like one I didn't think people would donate. Like I was like no one's going to donate to this, but like people that I hadn't talked to like since high school donated. And like I have so many fellow filmmakers that have raised, you know, tens of thousands of dollars crowdfunding to make their film. So like that's super accessible. Like and you really don't need that much to make a short film. Like I spent about I mean, this still is a lot of money when you're just a person, but like about like 6 grand to make this. So like while that is like a lot of money just in your normal life, like for films, that's not very much, but my film looks as good as films that spent 40 grand, you know? So especially for a short film, you don't need to spend a whole bunch of money. Get some people that either have their own equipment, you can rent equipment for like $200 for the day, like find locations that you already have access to. Like we shot a bunch of this in my house,
Yeah.
which was free. And yeah, so you don't need to have all kinds of stuff to do it. Like you have most of the things that you need already. And if you don't know other people that are in the industry, DPs or lighting or sound or any like there's a whole bunch of Facebook groups that are filmmakers. You can post in there, you can post on backstage or YouTube stuff and just try. So it seems like there's all these limitations to being a filmmaker, to making films, but you can really do it without without all that stuff that they say you need, you know?
Oh, 100%. That's been the biggest lesson for myself. Like when I first started, I kind of thought like I needed to, buy all these things. And at the end of the day, like of course, like if I'm shooting like something for like a poster or something, I obviously need the camera to be great for that kind of thing. But nowadays, I mean, I took a video with my phone recently. I had to get a new phone. I succumbed to the getting the new phone. I lasted years without getting a new phone, but I did it. And I took a video for my friend because this I was driving. It was like 6:45 in the morning, and the sun was rising, and there was this really this there was like smoke coming off of the water, and it was just
Oh,
gorgeous. So I used I have the 17 iPhone, and I filmed it, and then I watched it, and I was like, who edited this? Like, phone edit it? Like, where'd the stabilization come from? Like, it was just absolutely absurd how beautiful it looked. And like, it's just, and even if you don't have access to something like that, like, there's all these cameras that like will give you a retro look or make it look like you're shooting it in film, but like, get the story out and don't worry so much. Like if the story is written well enough, that'll do what it needs to do on its own kind of thing, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, the story is 100% the most important thing.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And then even with editing, like there are ways to kind of tweak things in a way that it's still allowing you to tell the story. If even if some of the visuals are maybe you miss this or this or there's a way where there's a will, there's a way. There's a
Yeah.
reason why that is said because it's true. So I just love that you said that. Yeah, please don't let equipment like basically stop you from making something because
Mhm.
it's not even a thing. It's just not even a thing. So that's awesome. I love that. And yeah, in terms of learning, we talked about this in the beginning where there's just access to everything now between YouTube and even TikTok. There are people who are making TikToks and they are just absolutely teaching you everything that you could need to
Yeah.
know. So there is access to everything. So don't get in your head about it. You want to make something, just do it. Just try it. You'll never know. I just recently started doing stuff just for the hell of it because I just wanted to see what it would be like. And I'm so proud of myself for doing so many things, and I'm becoming pleasantly surprised every single day by the movement of some things that I've started just because I wanted to see what happened if I just did it. So don't get in your own way. So I have two more questions I'd love to try to fit in here. One is, are there any habits or routines that you swear by that help you stay grounded or productive?
So I don't know that I have like a lot of habits that I do, mostly because I'm the type of person that like I will work on, like if I'm like writing or something, I will work on it for like 10 hours straight and then not touch it for 2 weeks. Like because like I can't work like in like little bursts kind of, like I have to like immerse myself in it, but I get like a ton done
Sure,
when
sure,
I'm
yeah.
doing like, but I think like creativity wise, like the one habit that I think helps me the most is I keep a notes app in my phone that whenever I have any kind of idea, anything, I put it in
Mhm.
there. Like for like it's mostly for writing, but like if I see something and I'm like, even if it's just like one like image and I'm like, that's inspiring to me, I'm gonna write that down. Or like if I wake up in the middle of the night and I had this crazy dream that like I'm like, this could be a story, I'll write it down. Some of them are not anything.
You never know.
Um, yeah, some of them I'm like, "Oh, actually, like, if I tweak a few of those things, like, this could actually be," or, like, if I, like, come up with, like, a line there's, like, a line of dialogue that comes into my head, I'll write it down even if I don't know what it could connect to, and then if I'm ever not am in the mood to write, like, I'm, like, really inspired to write, but I'm, like, not currently working on a project, I go in there and I'm like, "Oh, what in here is inspiring me right now?" And then I'll, like, start working on that. So that's been like super helpful. And it just kind of keeps you like always paying attention to things, kind of like things that could be used. Cause, like walking around in the world, like there's always
Oh
stuff
yeah.
that is interesting or like you could take and morph into a story or yeah, so that's like my number one creative habit that I
I
do.
love that. Yeah, no, it's you're just keeping this like little like log of, just these ideas because you never know. I mean, like in a few years you could go and look at something and it just hits differently than it
Mm,
did at that moment. So that's
yeah.
cool. I love that. All right. And then what's next for you? Any upcoming projects you're excited about and that you can share? And if you can't, that's okay.
Yeah, so we're in development for a feature version of She Was. So the script is like pretty much locked. We're probably going to tweak some things still, but and we're working on like starting to work on financing and thinking about cast members that we actors we want to reach out to. So that's very exciting and it's been really exciting to I've been like talking to people at film festivals that I've been going to about it and the response has been incredible. Like everyone it seems like so excited about it and so interested and asking so many questions and so like that's just like pushing me more. I'm like we're going to make this.
Yes.
Yeah, but so that's like my big project that I'm working on right now, and then I'm also producing and editing a short film called The Art of Showing Up, which is a comedy, and that's I'm excited about that project. It's my friend Paige is the director and writer, and she acted in it too, and she did such a great job on the script, and it's yeah, it's a really fun project, so I'm excited for that one to be out hopefully by the end of the year or after in the new year. And then I am I can't talk too much about this one, but I'm working on another feature writing with a writing partner who is in Germany that I met through my mentor and it's like a vigilante action movie kind of, which is very different than what I've done in the past, but it's I'm very very excited about that one and it's been really fun writing with her and
Oh
collaborating.
my gosh, I freaking love that. That's amazing. I can't wait to see all of this. That is insane. Wow. Okay, so you've moved into feature. That's incredible. Yeah, you have to keep me
Yeah,
updated on all that because
I
yeah,
definitely will.
that's insane. And I can't wait to see your friend. Her name is Paige, you said? Yeah,
Yes, yep.
that sounds really good. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I can't wait to see all of this. That's sick. Especially the feature part. That's wild. So I know that's probably a lot of work, but it's yeah, like
Yeah. We're yeah, it's been a lot, like, the writing process, and it's definitely gonna be, like, development and pre-production and everything is gonna be a massive amount of work, but I have Beck is producing with me again, Beck
amazing.
Benyon. She is fantastic, and I love her so much. And, yeah, and we're hoping to be able to shoot next summer, end of next
Okay, got
summer.
you.
That's
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Congratulations. I'm so
yeah.
excited I left that question for last. That's awesome. I just want to loop back for 1 second. Do you have any recommendations for people that need some crowdfunding, like any spaces to use, like sites or,
Like platforms to host your
yeah, they could,
yeah.
crowdfund and get a little help?
Mhm. Yeah, so the main ones are like Kickstarter and Seed and Spark. I did Kickstarter for my this short film's crowdfunding campaign, and then I've helped several people with their crowdfunding campaigns on Seed and Spark. I personally think Seed and Spark is awesome because they like help you with a lot of it and there's like grants and stuff and like that they give out or like Mark Duplass he donated a grant to one of the films that I helped their crowdfunding
Mhm.
campaign. So like they have like celebrities that kind of come in and like partner with
Okay.
them and they send out a lot of stuff like new in their newsletters they'll like highlight people's projects that they really like so you're getting like a lot of traffic and new eyes on it too, other than the people that you're sending it to. So, but both of them are great. But that like Seed and Spark is the one that I would like super recommend.
Okay, yeah, I've never heard of it. So that's awesome. Kickstarter I'm familiar with and I've used GoFundMe in the past for smaller things, but Seed and Spark. So I'm going to actually put these links in the description so that people who are watching this like, they have easier access to that. So that's great, but I'll also check out Seed and Spark. I love the name too. That's so cool. So then I just added like a couple little fun extras. So Jenna and I, we wanted to start, doing like book recommendations, and I know you're a big reader. She does I'm going to put her contact info, not contact, but socials and stuff like that into the description as well, but she does a monthly, book recommendation, and she reads and does audiobooks. So, but she does like kind of like a book roundup for the month, which I love. So I wanted to ask your favorites, if you have any favorites, like, your three favorite books, films, podcasts, and character, and that can be from a movie or a book. So you got wiggle room on that.
Okay. So I have a very hard time picking favorites of
Okay.
things. But so for books, I'm going to give you
Okay.
authors because okay, so V.E. Schwab is like she's like an auto read for me. Like literally anything she writes, I basically give it 5 stars. Like she is absolutely incredible, and she's written, like, a million books too, and they're all so good. But the one I'm obsessed with her newest book that just came out, Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. It is probably one of the top 5 books that I've read this year, and so good. Like, I literally can't stop. I read it, like, I don't know, like 6 months ago, and I can't stop
Oh my
thinking
gosh, I
about
have to
it.
read it
So,
now.
definitely recommend that one. And then I know I'm gonna butcher her name, but Sarah L. Raif's Ending Fire series is one of my favorite series. So, so good. And then anything Lee Bardu writes too, I'm obsessed with. I'm her favorite the favorite series of mine that she's written is probably Ninth House. That's like love it. So I think you'd really like that one too, actually. Yeah, it's really good. But like all of her books are fantastic too. And then pretty much anything by Robert Jackson Bennett too is awesome. So good. So that's my books. I know I didn't really give like actual
No,
books.
no, that's good because the good thing with authors, like just to kind of like generalize it in that way, is that like you're not just getting like the one book, you're getting like a ton of
Mhm.
books. So
Yeah.
that's amazing. Heard of
Yeah. And
them.
all those authors I like recommend every single book they've written. Like I've read all of their books and they are all
Oh
fantastic.
no, I get that. I'm like that with Mitch Albom. He's,
Mhm.
and I know he writes like very small books, but they're so beautifully written, and like anytime
Yeah.
he puts a book out, I'm just like, bye. Like you don't even have to ask me about it because I know it's gonna make me cry, but it's also gonna be incredible. So I get that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right, so we got the authors, and I'll also include that in the description if you guys want to check them out. Films.
So it's terrible that I'm a filmmaker and I, like, don't actually watch a lot of movies because I think it has something to do with, like, my, like, attention
Oh,
span thing, like, I don't know, but I'm more of, like, a and I think part of it too is I prefer TV normally because I like delving deep into characters, like,
oh,
and, like, backstory and, like so, like, I like spending more time in the
oh.
world and the characters, but whenever anyone asks me what my favorite movies are, these are the 2 that I give. The Butterfly Effect with Ashton
That's a
Kutcher, that is one that I've loved, like, since it came out, like, so good. Yeah. And then probably, like, the movie that I could watch over and over and, like, would never be sick of it is Back to the Future. Like,
I love.
I yeah, I'm obsessed with time travel just in general, like, I'm a huge time travel geek, but yeah, but Back to the Future is, like, my the whole series, but the first one
Yeah,
particularly, yeah,
you
I
go
love it.
wrong.
Yeah. And then if I had to give, like, a newer movie, The Iron Claw with Zac Efron that came out, like, a couple years ago, it's about the wrestling family.
Never got a chance to see that, but I heard great
Yeah,
things.
I would recommend watching it. It's really good. Like, that's probably out of the movies that I've seen, like, recently, like, within the last bunch of years, like, that is my favorite by far, like, so good. The acting, the storytelling, everything about it.
That's awesome. I mean, that would make sense in terms of like you being into like more shows, just because like you are such a big reader, and the whole thing with reading
Mhm.
is diving into the characters. So
Yeah.
I totally get that. So what, do you have like a favorite show? Like a top fave?
The Office is probably my favorite favorite.
That's right.
Yeah. Or I also really, really love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah. Yeah. Those are probably my top 2.
I just based off of because The Office is my favorite, Parks and Rec also. I don't
I
know if
love
you've
Parks
checked out Abbott Elementary.
I have not watched that one
So
yet.
funny. Very Office vibes. And then they
Okay.
just released The Paper.
Yes, I watched The Paper,
Yeah,
yep.
which was great. It was really, really good. Is it, like Office level? No.
No, but it was
It was
still good,
close.
yeah.
The woman, the Italian woman is hilarious.
Oh, I know,
Oh
so
my
good.
gosh, she I that's why I stayed with it was for her. I
Yeah.
didn't even care. Like I just want to watch this lady. She's so ridiculous. And then do you have any like I don't know if you're like into big into podcasts. Do you have like any podcasts that you enjoy?
Actually don't really listen to podcasts, like,
Oh
at
yeah,
all.
no, no, no.
Brett is always like, "Why don't you listen to podcasts? You should there's probably a lot you like." I'm like, "I don't know, I've never really been able to get into them. I'd rather listen to an audiobook."
Oh my gosh, no, I get that. I just recently got into I'm really into
Yeah,
Mel Robbins. Yeah,
yep.
Mel Robbins, I just recently listened to her book Let Them. What a awesome perspective on just like not getting yourself worked up about like people, but also taking like accountability at the same time. And I really I recommended it our last podcast and I'll recommend it almost every single podcast because it's that good. But her podcasts in general, I just find them to be very informative and soothing. She's just got a very soothing way about her. But there is another podcast that I will include in the description and I'll actually send it to you. And they just talk about the
Yeah.
history of things. Like they talk about like how
Okay.
Lego became Lego, and that I find really interesting. Brett might actually like it, like how
Yeah,
yeah, like
probably.
how Super Mario became, this big
Mhm.
thing, so it's been very, very interesting in that aspect. And then do you have like a favorite character between books or, shows or movies or anything?
I don't know if I have any, like, from books or movies, but Lorelai in Gilmore Girls is one of my, like, all-time favorite characters. Like, I just love everything about her as a
I
character.
love that. No, that's great. Yeah, it didn't matter where they're from, just this made up person, that
Mhm.
has just stayed with you.
Yeah, yeah, she's always, like, watching it, like, as a kid, I wanted to be her, like, and I like, watching it now again as an adult, like, I like all the struggles that she goes through and then, like, her resilience and her quirky and, like, talkative, and she's just such, like, a fun human being, like, I just love her.
No, no, she really I didn't actually really get into that show, but anytime I was like, with friends that were maybe watching the episodes, like I just always loved her. Like just high energy, but just
Yeah.
such a beautiful soul. So that's amazing. So I also put fun fact about you, and today I learned a fun fact before we even started this. She knits. She's a knitter. Is there anything else?
I don't know. I mean, I think that's yeah, like, I knit, I paint, I draw, I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. She is just an all-around multi-creative person. We have one of her paintings in our kitchen. It's one of our favorites. And but I have watched her go through this journey of painting and drawing and just being an absolute uh epic creative. Yeah, so that's awesome. And yeah, I think the secret talent was definitely I caught her right when she was putting away the knitting sticks. And I was like, whoa. So I love that. Oh my gosh. Well, we've actually reached a perfect time. This is great and it's recorded the whole time, so I'm impressed. What it gives me after is, we'll see. But I am for anybody that's wondering, I'm using a program called Script and they are for making podcasts. You can record your podcast and you can also this is not sponsored. And I was like I have to always remember that. And yeah, you can record on here or you can just move your recordings onto here and it'll give you like a transcript and help you edit. So anybody that's getting into podcasts, that's my recommendation. But anyway, thank you so freaking much for
course.
doing this with me. I really appreciate it. This has been amazing just learning about you, your film. You're the best. You've always been just so kind and I love, to be able to help each other out with stuff. So, yeah, really, it's just it's a blessing and I'm truly grateful and yeah, just thank you so much. I'm so excited to share you with our
Yay.
Tumblr community, and thank you for being a part of it. We're happy to have you, and I look forward to we'll have her back for other podcasts. I want you guys to be able to watch her journey and just see where from this point in a few months we'll have her back, and everything will be different. So
Yeah.
that'll be incredible. So thank you so much. And if there's anything you want to say before we sign out.
Thank you for having me, and I am so excited to share my film, like, once it's able to I'm very excited for, like, anyone to be able to watch it, like, once we have it somewhere that because I know that's, like, how it's gonna help most people, so, like, I'm very excited when we get to that point to be able to share it with everyone.
No, absolutely, absolutely. So that'll be great, and I'm glad that I know it's got to go through this circuit thing, but
Yeah.
patience is a virtue, and it'll be great. So thank you so much again, and you guys just stay tuned for episode 4. I am working on our next guest, but thank you so much. I love you and appreciate you, and this was awesome. You are amazing. Thank you, and everybody have a wonderful day.